Now it's just
You couldn't do that 2 minutes sooner.
Well, welcome to the more encounter because we got rid of the talk. I'm just kidding.
I'm a mess.
No, you're not.
I have so much stuff to tell you guys.
Sit this one out.
Welcome to the more taco encounter. We're glad to have you guys here with us.
That's yours again.
Yeah,
What's mine?
dude.
Just get with it.
What I
Joe
do?
is off the rails,
Dude,
In
Get with
case
it,
you have
dude.
never watched us before, Joe is off. The
you know what I
rails.
should have done? I should have gotten us some Up Dog today. That's what I should have done.
You probably should have.
Maybe. I don't know.
I should
We're
have gotten some Up Dog.
So, what?
No one fell for it.
That was too soon, dude.
Did you?
That was
fall-
too
did-
soon.
Did you know where I was going with that?
I have no idea what you're going for.
Fuck! You were supposed to say "What's up, dog?" And I was going to say,
He almost
"Nothing,
did,
man.
though.
What's up with you, dog?"
He's just as immature as all your students, dude. We thought for
literally-
sure you would know that one.
I literally
Fuck,
just
dude.
died a little inside.
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
embarrassed for him.
Honestly,
All right.
at least 300 cells died. Right
So
now.
I
many-
was like, dude, I
hey.
had like the biggest pucker butt waiting for you to say like, "What's up, dog?" Like, "What's up, dog?" I'm like, "Oh!"
and
I
to think somebody married you.
fuck, dude, I get a chance to do it. I gotta go. I'm leaving.
Speaking of marriage,
Crap.
I'm on the verge of divorce now.
he might be, and we're actually going to talk about a little bit more intimate details of our story and our experiences. One of the things that we really value about you guys, our listeners, our faithful viewers, is kind of the relational give and take that we have with a lot of you, and we're kind of going to share a little bit of a deeper topic. You all know that we're husbands, we're dads, and we've all had very unique journeys that have been impacted by this issue specifically that we're bringing up, which is familial bond and its impact not only on you and how you reflect on your journey relationally as you're developing, building up a proper marriage, building a faithful and rewarding marriage for you and your partner, husbands and wives, but also the dominoing effect it has on kids. And we live in a small, fairly close-knit community. Like, people, once you meet people a few times, you know who they are.
Yeah.
There's, in our region, a lot of people are interacting, in terms of kids athletics, school events, whatever. It's similar for most people who live in suburbia or even city areas in certain blocks, whatever. But one of the things that the three of us have really had impact our lives, both for better, for worse, and that has dominoed into our own personal traumas, but also things that we use to propel us forward into the men we are today, which is still flawed, but trying to be quality husbands and quality parents, is divorce as a topic. And I know, Joe, you've shared before on the show your parents' journey and how that impacted you as a kid. Would you like to remind our viewers a little bit about your past?
Yeah. So my parents divorced when I was 5-ish, around there. I am one of 4. My siblings are significantly older than I am. My brother's 16 years older than me. My one sister, my older sister, well, they're both older. My oldest sister is 15 years older, and then my closest sibling is 13 years older than I am. So I was definitely an accident. I always goof and say when I was conceived was the last time my parents touched one another, or maybe even spoke, for that matter.
I think you're the reason why.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, that's a great point too. So even when I was younger, like I could remember certain scenarios, before I was 5 of, my parents fighting and going through that, and my dad just like not being a great person, and my mom, pulling the trigger after 28 years of marriage to divorce. And then she kind of went on her own journey, right? Single mom, kids already grown, dealing with my punk ass as a little 5-year-old with a flat top and a tail, just crushing it.
Dude, I had
with
the
my-
same haircut.
It-
Yeah. Dude, with my pizza shirt that I sent you guys
Dude,
earlier.
He's like a
he
pizza
sent
planet.
He sent us a picture of him as like an early elementary kid rocking a Ninja Turtles I Love Pizza
Yeah,
sweater
it had a collar.
with the collar
Yeah.
busting out over the
Did
top.
you have the lines or lightning bolt?
No, never. I
Legendary
know.
late 80s, early 90s
Yeah.
action.
For sure. Yeah, it was like 1990. My mom would let me have the lines. I wanted
You
them
weren't cool
so
enough?
bad. I wasn't cool enough.
I wasn't cool enough for 3. I only got 2.
But I had the tail.
I
The
had
rat
lightning bolts.
tail.
Yeah, I had the rat
Ooh,
tail.
we had the tails.
Yeah.
Like, was it like a Coming to America tail? Like
Yeah,
the-
100%. Now we just call that back hair. That's now
Like,
mine's
it went
turned
down into your
Yeah,
back.
now mine's back hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It morphed.
And I can't
into
reach
my
back
shoulder
there to, like,
blade.
shave
Can't reach it. Right.
Yeah, that back blade, sometimes
No.
it rips up your back.
Yeah, that's where the wife comes in. She gets the butt, the butt crack. Anyway.
I didn't know it was that kind of
Yeah,
podcast.
this got deep.
Whoa.
Whoa, not that kind of deep,
Wow.
but deeper.
Whoa.
Yeah,
See,
but
you need to stop.
I know.
Just
So-
Parental warning.
Yeah.
You remember talking about our childhood? Those little stickers. We should put a little sticker on.
Yeah, we should.
We should just start off
explicit
with
lyrics.
yeah.
From this guy.
this
Yeah.
podcast is not directed for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, there we go.
We
I said
apologize.
it.
Yeah.
I said it.
So my parents divorced super young. And then, being a younger sibling or a younger child and having your parents divorced kind of went through all that, right? I used to go to my dad's house every single weekend. And then as I got older and older, my mom did and my siblings did a really good job of kind of like letting me figure things out on my own. Like I mentioned, like a few seconds ago, my dad was just not really a good person. And I didn't recognize that when I was a young kid. So I didn't know why my parents got divorced, any of those things that went along with that, right? So specifically, one year, I was probably like 11 or 12. I was getting closer to like the teenage years. My dad asked me to spend Christmas Day with him, and that was like a big no-no, right? So Christmas for most families, I'm Italian, so like Italians kind of celebrate things like a little bit more aggressively and take it more seriously. Christmas Eve is kind of our big holiday. Then Christmas Day is a chill day where we just hang out with family and whatever, open gifts from Santa, all that good stuff. And I chose to spend that Christmas with my dad, and it broke my mom's heart. Right, I didn't know at the time. Right, she did a really good job of not telling me.
Now you had been with her the night before for Christmas Eve, right?
Yeah,
The big
but that-
Italian Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but that didn't matter.
But that was the first time.
First
that
time
happened.
I've separated from my mom.
That's a lot for a mom to do that.
Yeah.
And then she'll never share. She will eventually, but she won't show her
Yeah.
emotions at the time. And I commend mothers for doing
Oh
that.
yeah. She kept it super cool. And apparently, obviously now knowing later on that she, talked to my sisters, and my brother, and was completely heartbroken from it because I chose to go hang out with my sounds bad, but my deadbeat dad instead of my mom that supported me since I was 5 years old to make sure that I didn't really have any issues, right? Even being 5 and a single mom, I was a spoiled kid forever. So that happened. And then 13, 14 years old, I started picking up on things that, he did and didn't do. And the way he talked and the way that he acted. And I'm like, this is just odd, right? I have my friends that had parents that were still married. And I saw how that relationship should look, or even an interpretation of how it should look. And I'm like, I don't know about this guy. And then I don't know if I mentioned something to my mom or my siblings or whatever, and they kind of broke some of the news to me about how he is and what he's done in the past. And then it all kind of came together, and I'm like, man, this guy is just not someone that I need to be around, right? Never held a job, never was a good role model for me, kind of like a loser, right? And as I got older, I got to see that, and I tended to distance myself from him. And then, obviously, my wife and I started dating in high school. I was 16; she was 15, and that obviously absorbed a lot of my time. And I remember going to Spring Garden.
Yes.
Spring Garden in
Army Trail Road.
Yeah.
Right? Oh
and, yeah. And he took us. He wanted to meet my wife, girlfriend at the time, and go from there. And one of our waitresses was a girl that we actually went to high school with, and she walks by, and my dad's old as shit, and he's like, "Hey, check out her ass!" Literally, right
in front of
right
your
in front,
now wife.
right in front of her. And I'm like, "This is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever been a part of." And
ooh, yeah.
yeah, so then we didn't see each other for a long time, and I saw him again before we had my oldest daughter, and then we had her, and then he met her when she was 3 months old, and then that was the last time he ever met any of my kids, because I made a conscious decision to not have him around, to not have that influence around, and honestly, me distancing myself when I was younger from him kind of, I think, allowed me to be who I am today. Tame some of the things that like I had issues with when I was younger, maybe like temper issues and things like that. Like, really don't have that anymore. I recognize it as an opportunity for myself, and I think what's really benefited me was just pulling away from him so young and being able to kind of be who I am. Surrounding myself with my mom, my sisters, my brother. My brother-in-law played a huge part in my like upbringing. I think I might have talked about that on a different episode about he was my best man at my wedding. I think it was when he met my sister when I was watching Freddy Krueger, whatever, Chucky, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Freaking weirdo.
Yeah, psychopath. And
That explains everything.
yeah, and he ended up
Why
kind of
there's
like
a doll in the corner.
he kind of like got me on my right path, and I wanted to raise my kids and have a relationship the way that I saw him do it. Because I didn't have that dad figure around to figure out what I wanted to do. Right. I couldn't follow that guy's footsteps because I probably been divorced, 3 or 4 times at this point, maybe even in jail. And probably wouldn't even have a job. Right. So, I'm grateful my parents divorced when I was young. I think I'm sure this will we'll dive into this, I'm sure, a little bit, but I think some people lean on an excuse that their parents or dad or mom were like pieces of crap. And that's why I'm a piece of crap now.
See, I don't believe in that. You got to break the chain.
Yeah.
As adults, you have to break the chain. You have to be better for your children.
It's about
I like
decisions.
the term generational curses.
Yeah.
You do not want to perpetuate generational curses. It's our responsibility to turn the tides for the future for our kids.
Yeah,
because you as a man, you have to do some things that are going to hurt. You have to do some things that are not going to be easy. But you have to do it. You still have your dad's blood in you.
Yeah.
You still have his temperament, and you have to make the conscious decision daily. Some people do daily to not be that person.
Yeah, and that's
you
how
want to be a better man.
I remember specifically. I'll make this pretty quick. I just became a manager at work, and back in the day, they used to send all new managers to Pittsburgh for a week-long training. And one of the questions that we went through was, like who do you look up to or something along those lines? And I said my dad, and like I quickly like diverted. I'm like, not because of the reason that you're thinking. I choose my dad as that person because he's someone I try not to be like. That's someone like that's my motivation, right? Like there's different motivations in there where like, I want to be like my dad because my dad was a cool person, did right by his family, had a good job, did all things the right way. And then you have people like my dad who didn't do that, and I'm like I don't need that for me or for my family or for my wife or whomever. So my life and my like life goals have been to do the exact opposite of what he's done. And so far 37 years old has worked out for me pretty well.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, the things that we have and that we've provided for our kids is something that my dad never did, right? We never owned a home. We got evicted out of homes because we didn't pay the rent. Stealing from whomever, professional con artists. Honestly, I probably get a lot of my traits from him, but I use him in a good way because he was a people person. Like you guys would,
you are a smooth talker.
Yeah, you guys would meet him and you love him. Like that's the kind of guy that he was.
Some people just have that.
Yeah, right. It's probably why I'm like decent at like my job because I'm able to talk and. I had a little slip up this week, but like
bullshitting people.
Yeah, right. You sell them. You sell them a little bit.
No, I mean, all joking aside.
Yeah. He's a professional con man.
You just have that.
That's what he did, and I think that I get a little bit of that from him, but I use it for good, and he used it to steal from people, including my sisters and stuff like that. So like, I just base my life off of him, but I am a product of a divorce. Fortunately for me, I turned out the right way. I made a good decision. Some don't, right? And I think each one of us have kind of gone in a different path, right? I know, Nico, your parents divorced, right? Like
about the same age.
Yeah. So I mean,
share your story with us.
It's actually very similar, but with a few different directions. So my stepdad, you guys know my stepdad. He's cool as fuck. Like he is really cool.
Yeah, he needs some new clothes though.
No. Here's the thing. He has the same look. It's all fresh.
No, he looks fine.
No. But what I'm saying is that he has 95 vests.
Yeah, he needs new sizes, is what I'm saying.
Oh, he's losing a lot of weight.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's losing
his
a lot
style
of
is his style.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. But they're just too big. He's got the droopy ass pants.
He looks good. He's losing a lot of weight.
Yeah, I'm
but he
gonna
doesn't want to
message him
commit.
next
Yeah,
week.
Well, I'm sure he'll listen and whatever. He might be our one viewer. I don't know.
Enrique.
Enrique.
Yeah, I was just gonna say-
Enrique.
Enrique. Do we
So-
have any followers? Anyone viewer on
It's
that?
probably him.
That's
Yeah. So I'm sure it's him.
Yeah.
He does do TikTok. So
Yeah, perfect.
cool ass dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have heard me use this term. I have a dad and I have a father.
Yeah.
Ruben came in my life when I was 6, turning 7. That's when I met him. So now 30 years of my life. I was fortunate enough to have a relationship with my father and also Ruben being my dad now. I think that both of them deserve that respect and having a title. At some point, my father went from my dad to my father. We just, as an adult, we had a difference of opinion. So things churned. I have this conversation with my wife every so often where, like I said, got to break the chain. I have my father's temperament. I do have, he grew up from a Mexican family, coming here like a very hard working class family. He was a Marine. He was raised a little bit different, corporal punishment. So his upbringing was different than ours. So his parenting style was different than what we want for our children, different generation as well. So that's one of those things where I don't fault him, but because I don't want to be that, consciously I make that decision every day not to be that.
Yeah.
Going to what you said about your dad meeting your daughter at a young age, my father has never met my younger daughter. When she was born, he was the first person I called, never met her. That's where our falling out started. And I don't fault him. We've had a conversation.
So you reached out to him.
He was the first person I
to
called.
let him, and then what happened after that?
Time. Just it got away from him. He went out of town, came back. What got me was he made an effort to see my nephews, and I don't fault them because they're kids. But he had gone out of his way to spend time with them. But I had a newborn, never made time to visit her.
Yeah.
So in my mind, as a parent,
protection. Bang.
Protection came in, and if my child is not important enough for you to meet her first days in her life,
yeah,
then priorities are different.
Yeah.
I'm going to respect it. I'm not going to hold grudges. I'm going to move on. But you guys, obviously we have a relationship through said child. That's how we all bonded. She's amazing. He has never met her.
Yeah. It's their loss, bro.
But on the flip side, Ruben, that's his world.
Yep.
So you have two different relationships. Like I said, I don't fault one or the other. Very different relationships. My mom made a hard decision to go through a divorce with my father. Ruben came into her life at the right time. He stepped in as a non-parent, and I think he did a damn good job.
Yeah.
I credit a lot of my successes to him, and I'm not going to take that from him. He put in a lot of time and effort strictly to me, and I will be forever grateful for that, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
But that was similar to Joe's.
Similar.
Slightly different.
Yeah. Yeah. You had like where your mom, went with someone else and you're able to lean on that. I kind of
Yes.
leaned on, obviously, like the sibling difference, like the age difference kind of
Yes.
played into that. I leaned on my sister's boyfriend, husband at that point, but still same deal, right?
And even the same thing. My older sister, time got away from us as we're getting older, children, time, life, just the way it goes. If it wasn't for my mom, my sister, and Ruben, I'd be a whole different person.
Oh yeah.
Those three people molded me who I was. And then I met my now wife at a very young age, and we just battled through life together.
Yeah.
So I've just been surrounded by some solid people.
Yeah.
Small circle, but solid.
Yeah. And I think
And-
it's phenomenal, right? And I think that's Eric, I'm gonna ask you a question here in a second. I think
What's up, dog?
no, not
Not that. 'cause
not what's up, dog. Because I was so young, I didn't like get to, and my parents divorced. I never got to see like how to raise a family, right?
Mhm.
And I go to my oldest sister, who we ended up moving in with when I was a junior in high school. The things happened in my mom's work, and it was a whole thing. Right? There's a lot that we could spend 4 hours talking about that. But me and my mom moved in with my oldest sister, and Kate and I were obviously dating right at that point, and we got to kind of see how like they did things, right? How they like
firsthand.
Like the
Yeah.
family nucleus,
Yes.
and like loving family.
like dinners planned. Like you have dinner at like we had 6 o'clock, and we all sat down. We had dinner, right? My brother-in-law cooked. My sister did the cooking on the inside, or he grilled
Was
she
he
cooked.
doing the garlic with like a razor?
Yeah, he's just, dude. He married into a 100% Italian family. He's straight up Polish. So like,
Oh, so he was doing pierogi with
yeah,
razor?
he was cutting pierogies. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So like, we, like Kate and I like saw like kind of like not like intentionally saw how they did things and routine based with their kids going to bed. Like 8:00, we go to bed, right? Things are a little different now because our kids are in sports and extracurriculars and they drive us nuts.
But it's very similar though.
Yeah.
You still have a routine.
But they still have a routine,
Yeah.
right? And I'm very routine based now as well. Like, so all these different things. And we were able to kind of take things from them and how they raise their kids and how they structure things. And it's very, very similar to how we do things with our girls. Now they're very structured. And my little one, I think, tends to, it's almost like detrimental to her sometimes because she's so routined that like if we veer off that routine, she kind of struggles with it a little bit. And I used to be like that too. And even now I'm trying to get better with it. Like if I know like every Tuesday at 8:00, like we should be in bed. And let's say, Andy comes over next door and he wants like, BS for 20 minutes. I'm like, I love BSing, but like I'm 20 minutes past. Like,
You know what I love about Andy?
I need to go back to bed.
Andy's always timely.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, yeah.
And he always comes in at the right time with
Yeah.
that smile on his face.
Just ready to rock and roll, dude.
But he's always like just down.
Yeah, ready to
Like,
rock.
He just comes over and chills, makes his appearance. He goes, "See you guys
And I'm
later."
out. Yeah.
Like he's like a better version of Wilson.
Yeah. He is
He
invisible.
really is,
He's
dude.
invisible Wilson.
Yeah,
I love.
visible.
Yeah.
And the best part is, you guys have a gate that shares the
Yeah.
fence, and sometimes like we'll just be chilling in the backyard, and here comes Andy. We're like,
Andy, what's up, dude? Yeah. And we're
The
coming to
gate
that.
opens.
yeah, into
Wilson
your yard.
Did not have
Right.
that.
We didn't have that.
Or sometimes we'll be sitting there, and then Andy just sits down next to you, and you'll be 20 minutes into a conversation. And
Yeah.
Andrew, when did you get here?
Yeah, he just chimes
He's
right
just
in with
chilling.
his claw, dude. He's
He
ready to go.
Pops open his white claw,
Yeah.
and he's good to go,
He's set.
dude.
And we're getting towards the season of that. We're getting close. Even though it's
Yes.
snowing today.
But
But
you hear his Harley going.
yeah, he's ready.
Heck yeah, dude.
But I think like Nico and I share a very similar-ish issue when it comes to parenting, divorce, and whatnot. But you have a very different experience than we do.
Yeah.
If you're willing to share some of that.
So for me, what's unique and I kind of want to stay on the focus of the divorce aspect because a lot of I've shared previously in the episode where we talked about the people that we wish we could have another day with or another moment with. I talked about the fact that I am adopted and my parents did a phenomenal job. And then more recently I met through genetics research called 23andMe. I ended up getting in contact with my birth parents, both my birth mom and my birth dad via my birth uncle. But for me, it's kind of an interesting little spin on the family nucleus and seeing what that looks like. Like I kind of grew up in a way that was very structured, kind of what you're describing. It had a lot of those love pieces that Ruben brought to your family. And I grew up with a mom and dad who loved the heck out of me and my brother. We sat down for dinners. We did all of these things. But even when things are done, quote unquote, the right way in quotes, things can devolve and things can get ruined and get wrecked. And for me personally, like this is kind of a spiraling staircase story for down another road, but I myself became the divorced individual. I got married very young to a woman that I fell in with in college, and we were together for a few years, then got married my early 20s, stayed together another few years, and then I was single for 8 to 10 years before I met my beautiful current wife, Liz. And for me, kind of coming to grips with divorce as a whole, I never wanted to be divorced. I grew up thinking like, dude, if you get divorced, you are on the Mount Rushmore of screw ups. Like that's the perception that I had.
Yeah.
Like, and my parents stayed together in a way that kind of modern generations wouldn't. We grew up watching, the those sitcoms, and if you watch the Wonder Years and you watch this mom and dad and just bash like two rams at the top of a mountain, just cracking horns against each other, bang, 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 bang. That was kind of my parents. My parents had a lot of difficulties with each other. God bless them. They stuck it out, and they're still together today. And they poured all of their love into my brother and I, but I did learn a lot from them, and it was stuff that maybe we're kind of talking about divorce as a traumatic process and what you can kind of process out of that. And each of you guys had experiences that kind of propelled you forward and made you the men and the husbands that you are today. And you each kind of dealt with kind of jumping through hoops in childhood. You're like experiencing these things and analyzing these men and just figuring out what's going on. And for you, obviously, like once your youngest was born and just kind of discovering like that's when the ties get cut, and your ties get cut later when dad is checking out teenage asses and stuff. But like,
I should have reported him then. You should have reported him then.
I'm reporting you to the news.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my dad's a pervert.
Don Quinones.
Oh,
Is that his name?
It was actually.
Yeah.
We can get. We'll actually probably do a straight episode of my dad.
Between the mafia hits and the
It'll be a long
perverse
episode.
stories.
Yeah, we'll crush.
And
Yeah, it'll be good.
honestly, this is a topic that we could talk about for a long time because we have so much experience with this. But for me, I had to encounter difficulty on my own. One of my best friends was going through a divorce at the same time as I was, and there were some decisions we made together that were not the best in how we could like how do you process trauma?
Like cope with it or whatever, whatever you want to call it.
You know, like just being stupid.
Yeah.
Like I remember one of the first things I did was
Blow. Oh, sorry.
Bought a PlayStation.
Yeah.
close. I went.
You're
went,
closer than me.
Went and bought a big giant HD TV at the dawn of HD
A
TVs,
plasma.
and a
1,000 pounds.
and an entertainment center.
Let's
And I was like,
also
this
1,000 pounds.
this is like what I need, but such a stupid Band-Aid. And like, I got in a relationship very quickly. What? No disrespect to this person, because this person they weren't who I was supposed to be with, but
They were there at the right time.
It was rebound-ish, not rebound-ish in my effort, not rebound, because we actually were together a fairly significant amount of time, but it was like, I wasn't processing my life, and I didn't give myself the space to do that. And later on, I gave myself a beard year. It was a spiritual journey. You guys know a little bit about that. I rode my bike. I rode my bike to school for a year. I did a bunch of like goofy stuff.
It's like a bicycle boy.
I got
Not only on my relationship with the Lord, but my relationship with myself, dealing with those things that brought me to a place to where I could look my current wife in the face on our very first date. And I actually told your daughter this story upstairs.
You didn't tell her all of it, right?
I don't know what you're referring to, but on our very first date, I told my current wife, I love you and I believe we're getting married. And this is a wrap for me. And the context behind that is that my wife was also a product of divorce. Actually, she was a product of divorce. Her parents went through divorce. And also she had been previously married. And my two eldest children are not mine by birth, but are mine by love. And that was kind of part of my story too, that like I saw two parents raise me by choice and that it wasn't a DNA option. And you're talking about, you know, how your brother-in-law became that kind of source of wisdom for you, and how your mom, but also your sisters helped raise you, and how a dad or stepfather, whichever you want to call it, like helped raise you and your sister and your mom and all these things. And I looked at it and I'm like, I know what love looks like because of my mom and dad. I know what love looks like. And love is not DNA. Love is a commitment. Love is a daily choice. Love is sacrifice. And I could look at my wife and I said, I take you, I take the kids, I take all of it. And that's a wrap for me. That's it. Let's go with this thing and let's take this seriously. Let's go all in. I wanted her to know that I loved her and that I wasn't going anywhere. And a lot of people, when they hear that story, they're like, bro, you're crazy.
Yeah, but they don't know you also worked with her. You also knew her.
We
so,
were friends
so-
beforehand.
so you
We were
also
friends
weren't-
beforehand.
there is a pre-story to that. You
Yeah.
didn't just like
You weren't-
Tinder and I love you. Like
Hey,
that's not how
yeah.
that happened.
creepy.
right.
Yeah,
we,
you didn't do that.
right. We've talked about
There's
that.
context.
We've talked about that. Like we've both been with our significant others for a long time, right? I think.
20 years ish.
Yeah, I mean, we started dating in 2002. What year are we in?
Oh, 22 for you.
Yeah.
We're like at 19.
Yeah. So like in September we'll be 22 years. 22 years? Is that math?
Carry the 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, ish. Yeah.
22 years.
Your mathing is awesome on this
I
podcast.
know,
Mathing.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
between that and the ABCs, we're getting.
That's not
we're getting-
math.
We're getting through it.
That's
It's
not
close enough.
No.
It's like geometry, I think. There's letters in geometry. right?
Trigonometry. That's
ABC.
trigonometry.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, dude. Ask
Algebra?
MJ, dude.
He
Dude,
knows.
I will moonwalk across this basement right now.
With or without a glove.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I mean, we've been with our significant others for friggin' forever,
Yeah.
right? Over half our lives. So like us
It's
telling
like
our
forever.
basically forever, telling our like we're 16 years old, 18 years old, like, hey, we love you. Like they'd be like, we whatever, dude. Like I didn't know what that means. But you being an adult, like, and already being an adult and going through a relationship, I think things just happen significantly faster. Like they can.
And you know what those feelings mean.
Yeah, because you're mature, you've gone through it, you've experienced things like that, and I think we talked about that pretty recently. I don't know if it was us, but like it was us.
Yeah.
Like experience.
Who else do we talk to?
I don't know, dude. I talked to some
I was
people.
33 years old.
Yeah.
I was 33 years old at our first date. I had been single
Yeah,
for 6 years.
at
You know?
33, I already had a 8-year-old. Maybe 6.
I had a teenager.
Here's math again. Hang on.
And I had a 6-year-old and I didn't know it.
Yeah,
I had a 6-year-old and
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
it's just like, but you know what I'm saying, like I was already like a parent for a significant amount of time, before you dove into like a serious relationship. So like.
With kids even. Like you
Yeah.
just jumped into
It's
that.
not as weird as you would think when you say like, hey, like I have like super strong feelings for you pretty quick. Like you're an adult, you can figure shit
So
out. You know?
Yeah.
reflecting on divorce, because we're kind of talking about like this as a more serious topic. Like it's something that has influenced each of our lives. What is your? I shared a little bit earlier. Like I had a lot of shame, and you guys have probably heard the difference between guilt and shame before. Whereas like guilt is that you've made a bad choice. Shame is that you're a bad person, and that kind of like that extra level of weight. And when I went through that, like I had some experiences through my childhood and whatever, but also the perception societally, like if you get divorced, you're a scumbag and all this other kind of stuff. And I had to kind of wrestle with that myself. I actually dated a girl who was very intertwined in a church that I was involved with. And she broke up with me, not because anything was wrong in our relationship, but because I was divorced. And she could not face that.
Some
and
people walk away from that.
she
and they
did
don't
not want her family to have to face that either. And for me, one of my favorite scripture verses is from the end of the Bible. It's Book of Revelation, and it talks about how God says, "Behold, I'm making all things new." And you either make all things new or you're full of crap. You know, like there's not that's black and white. It's all or not. And for me, part of that journey was the journey to forgive myself. And not every dad can do that. Not every husband can do that. Like maybe someday I'll be able to look my ex-wife in the face and apologize for all of my piece of the pie, all that I can own, because I can only own my piece. But for you guys and your dads, like look at that individual experience. If either of those men had come to you and done the work and said, I own blankety blankety blank, you guys could potentially have had relationships with them. But pride comes in, decision making. We don't know. We don't know.
In
We
my opinion, I think anyone can say anything.
action. Yeah.
The actions speak louder than words. Like in my scenario, my dad did that, right? Like he I'm never gonna do this again.
So he apologized.
Blah blah.
to you.
Not to me, but like
Okay.
to my mom.
Hmm.
Blah blah. I don't think he ever apologized. I'll take that back. But like, promising that he wouldn't do something again or anything along those lines. He would never acknowledge the fact that he did something wrong. He would just say he wouldn't do it again. but then he would just go back and redo it, right? So like, word's going to go so far. Once you got to lead by action in my world, and if you don't, like, whatever, say what the fuck you want, it doesn't matter to me.
So that being said, like individuals, like maybe if they have a conscience, they're carrying that guilt, that shame with them, whatever. We've kind of been dealing with some stuff in our society and our culture. Our kids come to us now. We're all dads. Obviously my kids, I'm their two, my older two, I'm their stepdad, and those kind of relationships. But when you don't do a healing process, divorce is one of those things that can continue to perpetuate generational curses and domino and spiral out of control. And we were just talking earlier about some individuals that we know, some of which we're friends with, some of which we're not, and we're seeing generational curses continue to abound in specifically the form of divorce. Parents of origin divorced, had multiple kids. Each parent got remarried, divorced again. Parent got remarried, divorced again, and just this dominoing process. And now you got this mixture of kids. You got this mixture of now second generation, and now they all have kids, and the family tree looks like Game of Thrones. And it's you got Targaryen with Targaryen and all this other kind of stuff.
It's like
And
they're from Kentucky.
but it's
Louisville.
it's
My bad.
intense
From
and it's
Louisville.
crazy.
Louisville.
I
Wrestlers.
don't
No, they
say
play
this.
baseball.
I don't say this out of disrespect, but the fact that my ex and I, we never had children, it made the situation with my wife significantly easier. She has flat told me that she's not sure she could have done what I did, which is step in, raise someone else's kids as my own. And like, I don't even like that term, because like saying they're someone else's,
It's a
again, that's
what's
a
that
that's
term?
a
Blended family now, right?
We're a blended family.
Yeah.
That's a DNA marker. That's not accurate to the love. That's not. All of my kids are equal.
Yeah.
Like, love doesn't care about sperm and egg. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. You know.
Well, that's one thing. Oh, thanks, buddy. That's one thing
Look
where
at that thing is glorious.
it really is. But to add to what you were just saying, I work at the same company as Ruben. And I've been there, I think, 17 years. He's been there maybe like 27 or something like that. So what I'm getting at is when I run into people from different departments, they'll be like, oh, I ran into your dad today.
Mhm.
At no point does it cross my mind to say, oh, you ran into Ruben. No. Yeah, you ran into What is he up to?
Hey,
It-
Ruben,
it-
you want
it-
to scuba?
Is he fucking sitting in his truck again? Is he not doing anything again? What the hell is he doing? Like, there's
I
this
don't know
guy
what
that
he's doing back
I never
there.
know what he's doing back there. But that's just one of those things where my friends, my coworkers, anybody who knows me, anybody who knows him, that's just my dad. So blood has nothing to do with it. It's the actions. I mean, there's sentimental moments that I share with him. The first time I learned how to ride a bike, he taught me. Playing baseball, he spent the time with me doing that. Now, I'm not taking away from what my father did, because my father was there for special moments too, and I don't want to take any parenting moment away from him, because he did spend a lot of time when we grew up. We had a good relationship until we didn't. So I'm not taking any of that away from him. But there's certain actions and decisions that you make as an individual that you don't need blood to call them mom, dad. You don't
Yeah.
need their even brothers. Like, we have all become friends at when you call somebody your brother, when you don't need that blood. I think that word is so much stronger.
Like Hulk Hogan, brother.
Yeah, he calls everyone brother.
Well,
He does.
dude, he's my brother.
he's a real
My
true.
brother too.
He's a true American.
He's a real American, dude. Hulk Hogan's all of our brothers. That's incredible.
That's what I'm saying.
Hulk Hogan does not believe in DNA at all.
We're
At
bonded
all.
by a bandana.
I love it.
Yeah,
Bonded by the bandana.
I love it.
I'm wearing a bandana next time,
I love
and
it.
then I'm gonna
should.
half cut Gunner's hair.
Ooh,
I love it. I'm gonna shave my beard. Well, actually, I don't need
The
to.
mustache.
I'm just gonna dye
Do the
this
mustache.
blonde.
Oh my
I'll
god,
just dye this blonde.
that would be
the
incredible.
handlebar.
For WrestleMania, you need to dye it.
Let's go.
When's
For
WrestleMania?
It's in a few weeks.
April 15th.
April 6th and 7th, I believe.
I made that up. Yeah, I was not close.
April.
You were close. You were a week off.
Yeah, we got it.
We're good. we're
April
good.
1/30th.
So how do you guys? So because we've obviously had a lot of our relationships and influences formed by divorce. What What do you guys see as overall? Because we had kind of talked about, like, we're talking about people in our community that are having kind of this family tree is kind of
What do you
like
want?
getting out of control.
The knob.
And
The smoke.
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like for me,
Sorry.
for me, that's a wrap. Like my wife is the end of the line.
Yeah.
I'm all about second chances. Like I said, making all things new. I'm all about the fact that we can all learn and grow. And especially if you're like genuinely reflecting on your experiences, you're processing trauma, counseling is a huge thing that not enough people tap into.
I think you have to have both parties willing to do that though. Because
Yeah.
if one-
But
if
I'm
one-
talking even as an individual
that's
to
what I'm saying.
grow into the new phase.
That's what I'm saying. If somebody suggests it and somebody's not willing to go into it, what are you going to get
Yeah,
out
if
of it?
you don't have a
If you don't
willing
have an
heart-
if you
Yeah.
don't have an open
Yeah.
heart and open mind, there's no point. You're wasting everybody's time.
Dude, if you don't have an open or willing heart, that is, I think, you want to talk about deal breakers maritally. You want to talk about deal breakers as parents. If you don't have an open, willing heart to accept your failures, own your mistakes, be responsible and humble enough to say, I was wrong, I'm sorry. And then, and this is obviously a spiritual term, but repentance is action. Repentance isn't saying you're sorry. Repentance is change after sorrow. So
Yes.
what do we do? What do we do with that?
I think that's where marriages start to unravel. Because when you're in your own home, I mean, a lot of people, they want to be right. They want to have the last word. They want to. All couples argue. There's always bickering. If I mess up, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very prideful person. I don't like to mess up, but it's one of those things where I will sit there and be like, "Fuck," take the long walk upstairs.
Yep.
My wife will look at me. She'll be like, and she knows what I'm coming upstairs for. And
Mhm.
she'll be like, "Say it," and I'll say, "You're sorry." And she goes, and she'll give me a look. I'm like, "I know, I'm sorry. I effed up. I
Yeah.
overreacted. Whatever it may be, XYZ. That's my bad. I truly am sorry. I have to take those actions afterwards. I'm going to use a reference for those old school Grey's Anatomy people. That's my person.
Mhm.
My wife is my person.
Yep.
If I let her down, I let myself down. Like she's my ride or die no matter what.
That's being bonded. That's being bonded in a real relationship where two become one.
yes. And
Like if you're not one, then you don't hurt.
yeah, we had to work at that, and we were separated for a short time when
Mhm.
my oldest was younger. But that's one of those things where we worked at it, but I'm glad we did. Not all relationships are willing to do that, and I think that pride comes in,
Huge.
and people are too proud
Huge.
to say I was wrong.
Yeah.
And those actions, like my parents, if my father had just gone to the counseling, or if my father had just said sorry one more time or changed an action, would the family be different? Maybe. I don't know. Do I want it to be different? I don't.
No.
I don't want anything to be different
Yeah.
because everything is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
right
everything
now.
happens for a reason. I
Yeah.
think.
It's
I think
supposed to be this way.
it's those same people. I think we talked about it in previous episodes about like Karens, right? And it's these people that
Don't you live on Karen?
you do.
I live on Karen Drive.
There you go.
Okay, but anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Come to my house, viewers.
Yeah, I think it's.
That's my bad. Cut it. Cut
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to bleep that out. That's
It's
my
all
bad.
good.
That was I overreacted. My
It's
bad.
all
I got
good.
too
Yeah,
excited.
There's no overreaction.
John will take care of
It's
it.
a
Yeah.
long enough street.
Block that out. Sorry, my bad.
What's it called?
Damn, we set our town to at some point. Shit.
Oh yeah, where do
We're
we live?
fine.
Where do
We're
we
all
live?
good.
Yeah, Iowa.
DuPont.
Dude,
Yeah, we're in
everybody knows
DuPont.
we live outside Chicago.
Yeah, right.
I guess Iowa is outside
it
Chicago.
is. That's what I'm saying.
technically.
Yeah, so we nailed it.
Yeah.
Crushed.
But
Kenosha.
those same people that I think struggle in marriages with admitting when they're wrong, knowing their shortcomings, knowing what they're good at, being able to dissect themselves to a certain point and be self-aware are the same people that struggle making friends and keeping friends. They make friends. I'll actually take that back. I think these people have a relatively easier time making friends. It's keeping friends because they can't control and acknowledge their own poor actions or decisions and then apologize for those said actions.
I'm
Same
gonna
thing.
I'm gonna use an analogy from the land out here. When you have 4 inches of dirt built on top of clay, your roots cannot grow low.
No.
So in order
That was
to
deep.
in
Right there.
order
No pun intended.
Damn,
in
son.
order to actually cultivate fruitful vegetation, you have to till the soil, and it has to be a place where it can grow deep, where there's nutrients down in there. And you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you're talking about
That's
those,
a good analogy.
you're talking about those relationships. And the fact is, like, yeah, of course, they're fantastic 4 inches deep. They're 4-inch deep relationships.
I'm sorry.
I'm pretending to all of our viewers out there, I'm pretending I'm not doing a podcast with perverts. So, anyways, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious.
Don't make eye contact with me anymore,
Don't look at him. Anyways, they're both dead. The fact of the matter is, like, you can't really get to certain places. Like the three of us, we've all had discussions, as well as with Jean, about things that matter, about our spiritual selves, our physical selves, our emotional selves, our intellectual selves. We don't all agree on all those topics. We respect each other. We love each other enough to say no. We love each other enough to disagree and say, you're wrong. That is, you were talking about the difficulties you went through prior to being married and having to separate and coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you have had a long-term journey. Anybody who's in relationships like that, you realize he is still pulling it together right now. You realize
This
the
is
fact,
how all of our texts go to.
Keep going. I'm sorry. I'm
gotta
sorry.
keep them separated.
Oh,
You realize that is cultivating truth, honesty, authenticity. I would suggest to all of our viewers out there, if you have a relationship in your life where you cannot be authentically yourself, and this is not the world out there where you need to be accepted because of what you believe. No, sometimes what you believe is wrong.
Yeah.
Whoa,
It's
mind blowing,
stupid.
Sometimes what you
Shocker.
believe is wrong, but you need somebody who loves and cares about you enough to discuss it.
Yeah.
To not just discuss it, walk through it with you to help you get to the truth, because the truth is out there, as the X-Files say. You know, whoa! But you know,
True, though.
you have to
Oh
be
my
able to
God.
you have to be able to rock that jam together.
Yeah.
It's crazy though. We like, dude, I would say, and I've made plenty of bold statements today, but I would make a statement. If you are heading into Elizabeth Taylor territory and you're rocking marriage 3 and marriage 4 and marriage 5 and marriage and you're just dominoing forward.
You could have said J-Lo too for the newcomers.
Touche,
We talked about that last
J-Lo.
She's still.
This is me now. We might do a movie review on that. It's just crazy enough.
Okay.
If you're doing that, my question to you, as somebody who is flawed, broken, messed up a marriage myself, but has found the renewal, is, have you done the work? Have you done the work to grow? How can you say this time is different? And those of you who are dating people with a past, we all have a past.
Mhm.
There is renewal and growth out there. People do change. People do mature.
For sure.
But the proof is in the pudding. The evidence is out there. The repentance is in action. And those things are what have created the story that the three of us have. And we hope every day that we're doing the best we can to be fathers and husbands
We
to
keep each
set
other-
the new trend ourselves.
Yeah.
We keep each other honest in all aspects, though. Whenever the four of us get in a text thread, we call each other out. Yeah, we may not like it, but you know,
Yeah,
Or I mean, it's not like it gets
It's not
ever
fun.
bad. Yeah, but it's like, hey, quit being an idiot.
Yeah.
We do it all to each other all the time.
Yeah.
Keep each other honest, because that's what a circle does.
Well, yeah.
That's what
I mean,
your people
I
should
ran
do.
by a whole scenario with you guys earlier today. Obviously, I'm not going to get into
No, you don't
any
have to get
sort
into
of
it.
detail of that, but like almost to like check. I'm like, am I missing something here? Is it me or is it this other person? Right. And then I think you guys would all, obviously I won. I think if it
But there's shades of
but
gray.
yeah, but if
too.
it was
There are
me-
shades of gray.
yeah, if it was me, you'd be like, Joe, you're
But-
kind of being a turd.
But that
like-
was where again
And-
we were
and-
like from an outside perspective, we gave you, hey, these are optics,
yeah,
and this is how it can be perceived. But those are the conversations not everybody likes to have.
Yeah.
And you were upset with me that I asked that question. I asked that question predictively.
Yeah.
Like this. So
What is it?
You,
Nostradamus?
you were right.
Is that what it
You
is?
were right. But also
wrong.
you were wrong because you could have seen that coming.
yeah.
Like
No, right.
And that's not a bad thing. That's just us growing.
Yeah,
Like, dude, we still speed. You know what I'm saying? We get on the road every day
Yeah.
and we speed, even though we know the consequences of it. So ultimately,
You're full of analogies today, dude.
Ultimately,
he's
actually-
on fire.
He really is.
Fire.
this girl is on fire.
I was actually thinking NBA Jam. You guys went way.
He's on fire.
Thank you.
That's
That was
good
much
too.
better. I wasn't.
I
gonna-
do like
that-
NBA Jam. I do like Alicia
Alicia
Keys,
Keys.
though.
Uh,
New York.
damn it! I knew you.
Sorry.
Were going, I knew you were going. Damn it!
Amazing.
Alrighty.
On that note, this has been an epic pod, but something a little bit deeper. And these are topics we're going to continue to bring up with you guys. You guys are our family. Thanks for coming in and visiting with us. And we'll check you guys next on the More Taco Encounter.